Hello and welcome to the Lyman Wolf podcast. I am Raceland, your host, and what's going on, buddy? It's Nate.
Indeed it is.
I kind of messed that up in the beginning, but that's okay.
That's fine. Not much is going on. Just doing this podcast and still trying to beat Kingdoms of Amalur.
Man, you're never going to get that done, are you?
Probably not, due to a very bad saving system.
I told you just move on to another game.
Never. Keep going until I beat it.
But on today's podcast, we're going to be talking about the top 10 movie series. Now, what I mean by movie series is there's one rule that I have for this, and it has to have more than 3 movies. So, yes. Something like, I always go, like, my automatic, like, example is The Matrix, because it's been a trilogy for, like, 20 years. And then I'm like, it's not a trilogy anymore. But yeah.
Unless you count the Animatrix.
Nobody counts that.
I do.
No. So yeah, it has to have more than 3 movies. So trilogies do not count.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess just jump right into the podcast. I got nothing else to say. It's pretty simple rules.
Yep.
And we're going to have you go first, Nate. What is your number 10?
Right. My number 10 is the Star Trek movies.
Okay. I know a lot of fans are going to be happy about hearing that.
Yes. So I was introduced to Star Trek with Next Generation, Jean-Luc Picard as captain. So watching the movies were kind of my introduction to the older crew, actually, with like Spock and Kirk.
Now, are there a lot of movies? I didn't think there was a lot of Star Trek movies. I thought it was just all the show.
There's like, I think at least 10 movies.
Oh, okay.
They're not all amazing quality. They're a lot simpler back in the day. But like one is literally them needing to go back in time to I think the 70s to get the call of a whale to prevent impending doom from an alien species.
Normal Star Trek stuff.
Yeah. But one of the things I liked about them is that it kept the vibe of the older show for the movies. And then as they went on, it then transitioned into the Next Generation crew by even doing a movie where it like cameoed Kirk. Like they explained where Kirk went and everything.
Okay.
And then from that point on, it's the Next Generation crew that is in the movies instead. So it's a full-on... It's almost like an MCU style thing where you have the old crew doing like the first 5 or 6 movies, and then after they'll do like the crossover movie, and then from that point on, it's the Next Generation movie, just continuing the storyline of Star Trek.
Okay. Yeah, the only Star Trek movies I've seen are the new remakes with Chris Pine in it.
Mm-hmm.
I like those.
Which are really good.
I think they're great, but old Star Trek, like, man, I'm just not interested in that kind of stuff. It's very slow to me.
And honestly, you can even count those movies with this because that is Spock. Like, it is literally, like, they did a reboot that is a continuation of the original storyline.
It's like a soft reboot.
Spock. Well, it's not even an actual reboot. It's just a continuation of the movies by having their Spock go back in time and be introduced to the new alternate timeline. So it's basically just like the Loki show.
Man, so much MCU happening in Star Trek.
Yeah. Star Trek did it before MCU.
How dare you?
So that is my number 10. I've always been a big fan of Star Trek. I love the setting, love just the general vibe going on. One of the few super futuristic societies of mankind that is not dystopian, and it's actually like a utopian kind of thing.
That's boring.
I mean, they make it not boring because shit still happens, and they show that just because you're all about peace does not mean everyone around you is all about peace.
Yeah, I know my mom growing up was like a huge Star Trek fan. And she tried so hard to get me into Star Trek as a kid. And I was just like, oh man, but Star Wars is right over there. And I did that instead.
Honestly, like the thing that really got me into like really liking Star Trek is I've always been a fan of philosophy. And they delve into serious matters that like happen in real life, just futuristic style, and the tech. Like the tech of Star Trek is amazing, and in my opinion, leagues beyond Star Wars. Like Star Wars has the lightsaber.
Yeah, that's why I like Star Wars as a kid better, because I was like, look at the flashy lightsabers and all the action. Star Trek was Star Trek was a lot of just like sitting around talking about politics and doing stuff on a planet.
Like Star Trek does have a lot of action in it.
Does it though?
It does actually. Like, so there's even a joke. Like if you're wearing a specific colored suit, you're going to die, because that's the suit of the extra that dies in that episode. And like I will say, Star Wars has weapons beat, in my opinion. But Star Trek has everything else tech-wise beat, like replicators, holodeck. Like those two main ones are like amazing.
I know Star Trek. A lot of modern technology is based off the stuff they made up in the shows.
Oh yeah, like it's an inspiration.
Yeah, I can see why it's on your list. I'm surprised it's number 10. I thought it'd be a lot higher, to be honest.
Well, like I said, not all of the movies are like super like exciting. I still enjoy them because I like the characters and I like the adventures.
Because I'm a fan.
But like I can say like not all the movies are super exciting. And also I am a much bigger fan of the next generation movies. So, and a good chunk of them are the older Star Trek movies. So,
if they can make more Star Trek movies like with the Chris Pine ones where it's action packed, I'll get into Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, I'm completely down with them doing that. Even though one of my favorite like characters or actors died.
Yeah.
In that, so.
Well, that's a good pick for you. Like I said, I'm just shocked it's a lot lower than I expected.
The others are basically a lot more action-packed.
Makes sense.
So, what's your number 10?
All right, my number 10 is the franchise American Pie. The American Pie franchise. You know, the kids of the 90s and the early 2000s know exactly what this is. The raunchy... It's our generation's raunchy Porkies.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's a very good.
It's our Porkies basically.
Yeah,
it is hilarious. Oh my god, all these movies are just. I don't think there's a single movie that I actually don't like. The only one that I could think of, Book of Love, which was like 2015 or 16 or whatever. That one wasn't the best. And then there's a new one that I haven't seen. There's only one I haven't seen, and it's the newest one where it's like all females.
Rules.
Yeah, that's it. I was like, I don't even remember what it's called. I haven't seen that. That one, I think I grew out of American Pie, to be honest. Like, if I watched it now, I don't think I'd enjoy it. But like going back and rewatching them, it's like, hey, you know, this is me reliving my teenage years.
So, I was also a pretty big fan of American Pie movies. I did not watch Book of Love or Girls Rules.
Book of Love, like I said, it's really not that important, honestly.
I think those are the only two I haven't seen, unless there were more in between those two.
I don't think so. I think those were the last two.
And then, yeah, one of the things I liked about American Pie is that it kind of shows, like, you have the teenage antics and whatnot of the first couple of movies, but then it starts to be like, okay, so these people are growing up.
Yeah.
Like, they're having to face adult life.
Like, I really enjoyed American Reunion, bringing back the original cast from the first three movies and seeing them as an adult. That was actually really cool.
Yeah. And then, but also showing like, yeah, they're adults, but they're still the dumbasses that you know and love.
Right. And of course, Stifler is everybody's like favorite character, to be honest.
No, Stifler is not my favorite character.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Stifler is like probably my least favorite character.
Makes sense.
But I will say Stifler's little brother from Bandcamp.
Yeah.
He was a cool character.
He was. I'm surprised your favorite Stifler isn't from Naked Mile. The one that was like, I don't want to be a Stifler.
Yeah, like I do like he's a good guy. But the fact that Stifler's little brother grew up with Stifler, like practically idolized Stifler, but then in his movie basically had a character arc and grew out
exactly
of that.
I was so bummed.
That is what made him the better Stifler, in my opinion.
I was so bummed that he only lasted one movie. They never brought him back. The OG Stifler, Steven Stifler, was in 4 American Pie movies. He's in the first trilogy, American Pie 1, 2, and then Wedding, and then The Reunion. He came back.
Yes.
Then the Naked Mile Stifler, I think his name was Eric Stifler. He was in
cousin of Stifler.
Yeah, I think he was in 3 movies. He was in Naked Mile. He was in Beta House. Was there another movie after that, or would that be Book of Love next?
I think it was Book of Love was next.
Okay, so he's only in 2, but still, he came back for a sequel because everybody liked this character because he was the Stifler that didn't want to be a Stifler.
Yeah,
but the Bandcamp Stifler just got left in the dust. They're like, oh, his story's done. We don't need to go expand on that anymore.
I mean, I kind of understand where they were coming from because once he decided, like, oh, maybe my brother is not like a god, he started kind of being the Jim of his universe, and we've already seen Jim's progression throughout the American Pie movies.
Yeah, I can see it. It just kind of bummed me out because it's like I wanted to see, or at least like do a flashback or something in the later movies explaining like, oh yeah, that Stifler, he's now married with kids and married to that Bandcamp girl. Like I wanted some kind of closure. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why I like Bandcamp so much is because it kind of felt like a combination between the original American Pie movies and Revenge of the Nerds.
I could see that. Man, Revenge of the Nerds. Oh man, if you watch that now, looking back, it's like that is such a messed up movie.
Yeah, so I do absolutely love the Revenge of the Nerd movies, all of them. Though they did get they weren't great.
No, they're not great.
After like the first 1 and 2, I still think are pretty good. After that, I could tell the quality dropped. Like to me, the quality dropped pretty big. I still like them simply because I like the characters, but that's also kind of the reasons why I'm not a big why they're not on this list. Because after 1 and 2, I really feel like they just lost focus and started going a little crazy.
All right, so back to American Pie though.
American Pie.
What would you say out of all the movies is your favorite American Pie movie? I know the 2 that you're torn up between. It's got to be Bandcamp and the first one, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not the first one.
Oh, really?
I was actually thinking Bandcamp or Wedding.
What was the second one about? I'm drawing a blank on what the story was there.
So the first one is them trying to oh wait, what was? Yeah,
the first one was literally them just trying to get laid. That was the whole point of the whole movie.
Yeah.
The second one
wasn't the second one where they go to the beach house?
Yes, that's it. It was the beach house with Stifler's mom and everything.
Yeah, I'm merging the first and the second one.
Yeah, I do that too.
I'm like, no, that's not right.
That's right.
Because the second one is where we get to meet Stifler's little brother.
Right, with the lesbian scene and the walkie-talkie. Who is
played by the actor who played Reese from Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, never saw that show, but
amazing show.
So out of all of them, which one's your favorite?
I'll just say Bandcamp.
Bandcamp? That's understandable. For me, I'm torn between the original OG and honestly Beta House. I don't know why, but Beta House was so funny when I was a teenager.
Beta House is my least favorite.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Um,
Beta House was so... I don't know why. Naked Mile was really funny, but Beta House was really, really funny when I was a teenager.
One particular scene.
Is it the sheep?
Actually. No. Oh. The Russian roulette scene.
That was hilarious when I was a teenager, dude.
I gagged the fuck. I was like, no. Nope. That's a big nope on my part.
Dude, that movie was so stupid. Like, I can't even defend it. It was such a stupid movie. But it was so damn funny when I was like 16, 17 when that movie came out, and I was dying because I was such an immature little crap back then. Yeah. Oh, so funny.
We're both pretty immature still.
Yeah, but teenagers are a lot more immature than adults who are immature.
Yeah, I can see that.
But yeah, that's my number 10 is American Pie, just because it has a lot of nostalgia of me watching these when I was a teenager and loving all the raunchiness and stuff. So yeah, that's my number 10.
Okay.
What's your number 9?
My number 9 is the Bourne series.
Ooh, I almost had that as an honorable mention.
So this is actually, I wasn't, when I first watched the Bourne Identity, actually I think it might have been Bourne Supremacy. We watched it in my high school. It was, I think, during my senior year. The movie had already been out for a while. And that was when I started actually liking the movie. The other times I just kind of, like, I watched it, but I didn't actually watch it. I was mainly on my phone, not paying attention.
How dare you?
Yeah. My dad loves these movies. And
they're good
so
movies.
So I just kind of didn't give them much attention. When I actually did, though, I was like, man, I'm a fool. How dare I sleep on this?
I'm a fool.
Series. Yes, like, oh man. These are actually really fun series. I will say, it does not pay to be Jason Bourne's woman in any of these movies.
No.
Like the moment he starts to have feelings for anyone,
dead.
They die. And that is just incredibly sad to me. So, yeah, I really like these movies. They're pretty good, really action-packed, and I love one of my favorite styles of action is when you improvise and can use pretty much your environment as your weapon.
Jackie Chan style.
Yeah, and Jason Bourne does that amazingly.
So which one out of the 4 is your favorite?
Probably the last one, Jason Bourne. Because
wait. The one that does not have Jason Bourne in it?
No, that is Bourne Legacy.
Okay, so there's Bourne Identity, there's Bourne Supremacy, there's Bourne Ultimatum, and then there's Bourne Legacy.
And then there's Jason Bourne.
There's a 5th movie?
Yes, came out in 2016.
I've never seen that movie. I didn't even know that existed.
Jason Bourne is basically, we now know all of the story.
Oh, I need to watch that.
We get to see him as him. Like, he now has all of his memories and everything.
Holy crap, I've never seen that movie. I need to watch that. I thought the last Bourne movie was the Bourne Supremacy that didn't have Jason Bourne, and I didn't like Legacy. That movie. Yeah, I don't like Legacy. That was not a very good movie.
I liked Legacy. I do think it suffered from not having Bourne in it, but also I understand, like, they were trying to spread out and be like, hey, like, we've mentioned all of these programs that Bourne has uncovered and everything, and I think they did a pretty good job being like, yeah, and this is one of the surviving members of one of those other programs. Like, Bourne is not the only one out there that has these skills. Yeah, we force these skills onto others.
I get the premise of it. I don't know. I think I was starting to get to a point where I didn't care about the franchise anymore because it's like, Ultimatum ended really good. Mm-hmm. And I was like, cool, there's the trilogy. Done. And then they made a 4th one, and I tried to watch it, and I was like, man, this is stupid.
Plus, I really like Jeremy Renner. So
was it Jeremy Renner was the new guy?
Yeah, he was
I
the
didn't know
new
that.
character.
Dude, I saw it one time, half-assed watched it. I think it second screened it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I barely remember that movie.
Yep, he was something Cross. Like his
Criss
name was
Cross.
something Cross. Chris. No. Well, I'll look it up.
I would say
Aaron Cross.
I would say between the three though, the original trilogy, I would say 1 and 3 are like almost tied. They're really good. Supremacy is okay. It was Supremacy to me was a very middle movie. Like it suffered from being the middle movie.
Again, so out of the original trilogy, Supremacy is going to be my favorite because
Hilarious.
it has like some of my favorite moments are when he's just like, yeah, I'm watching you. And they're like, oh shit, where is he? Like he has eyes on us. He just pointed something out and he's like across the street. Like they don't like.
It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's just, I don't know. I like the story of the first one really good because obviously he's trying to figure out what the hell is going on. By the third one, Ultimatum, he has a grip of what's happening and he's trying to finish it up. Supremacy to me it was a good movie. It's just, like I said, suffered from being the middle movie.
And I think
I don't know. I can't explain it any better than it just feels like a middle movie.
Why I like it so much is because the first one, he's still grasping who he is. And the second one, he doesn't he cares who he is, but it's not about who he is at that point. It's about him getting revenge and justice for the woman that he loves and who died. And he just he goes ham on them. He's like, you fucked up. I told you to leave me alone. Now I'm going to show you why. And he even they bring in the other agents of the program that he's a part of, and he's just taking them all out. I haven't seen these. It was a great movie.
I haven't seen these movies since I was a teen, and I think I need to give them a rewatch. To be honest.
Oh yeah, I think I watched these last year again.
I haven't seen it so long.
Again, my dad really likes these movies, so he's always up to watching them. So I'm like, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a good pick. I agree with this one, Nate.
Yep.
Cool.
My next one, I feel like you are definitely not going to agree with.
I can't wait. So my number 9, I don't think is even going to be close on your list. And that is the Resident Evil franchise.
Nope. Not even a blip on my radar.
So I agree with you. Of why you would say that. I don't like the video games. I am not a fan at all. I actually don't at all like the video games. I have no interest in playing them. But I love the movies. It's so random, right? Because the movies and the video games are completely different.
I like the movies too. It's the reason I wouldn't put this on my list is simply because the first couple of movies I liked okay. It's when they started being clone after clone after clone after clone.
Yep.
Oh man. I love me some cloning tech, but I feel like they didn't explain it very well.
No, they didn't, but that's okay. You're going to find out a lot of these movies on my list are going to be nostalgia filled.
Yeah.
Again, I watched Resident Evil as a teenager and I freaking loved it. This was before I even knew Resident Evil was a video game. I had no idea Resident Evil was a video game until about the third movie. And I was, dude, I was oblivious to it. I didn't care about that stuff. And I was just over here. I was over here watching the movie. Yeah, I never had a tie to tell me about Resident Evil. I was watching the movies. I was loving them. I'm like, oh, dude, what's her name? The actress of
Mia Jovovich.
Yeah, her. I thought her character was awesome. Then it turns out, she doesn't exist in the video games. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and then they tried introducing characters from the video games.
Right.
I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Look, there's Leon or whatever his name is. And everybody's like, no, that's not him.
Was Leon in? Oh, yeah, he was.
He's in the second one, I think.
Yeah. I was thinking of Chris Redfield in the movies.
I don't even know who that is. I don't remember. But all I know is I love these movies. I thought they were great. I enjoyed the whole Alice's ability to destroy everything. Honestly, it started out with like Alice being like she's a badass, agent chick taking all these zombies out with guns and stuff, and she's so badass. And then it like evolved into her having powers and superpowers and stuff, and then she became clones, and yeah, it got crazy. It got very crazy at the end. But I've seen them all. I've seen all of them at least 2 times. I love them all. And I know they're not the greatest movie. If you go to Rotten Tomatoes, a lot of the later movies have like 35% or something. It's crazy, but I don't care. I enjoy them.
Yeah, no, I can understand that.
Lots of mindless action.
In that field.
Yeah, a lot of mindless action.
Yeah.
And what you're saying about the cloning really bummed me out, too, on some of them. Because there's one, I don't remember which one it was, but there's one of them where it's like the movie was ending, and I was like, oh, shit, how is Alice going to defeat this? What is going to happen to Alice? And I was so looking, and it ended on a cliffhanger, and I'm like, oh, dude, I can't wait to see where it's going to go from here. And the next movie is like Alice, no memories of anything, and she's in a completely different like part of the continent, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What happened to Alice? And this is before I understood that it was all cloney stuff, because I was like, 17 years old, 16, 17, whatever. And so I had to like look it up, and they're like, oh, that's a clone. I'm like, what? What? I wanted to know the ending of that story. Yeah, it bumped me out. Oh well. Oh, that's okay. So that's my number 9. That's Resident Evil.
All right. From an action standpoint, I agree.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is I love the action.
Yeah, they were very good action and colorful darkness.
And Nate, that first movie with that laser beam scene when it cuts everything in pieces.
Mm-hmm. Slice and dice.
Crazy.
All
right, what is your number 9?
My number 8.
Oh, number 8. My bad.
Is the Step Up franchise.
Really? The dancing movie franchise.
Yes, I absolutely I love these movies.
How many movies are there?
So the ones I've seen, there are 5 of. I think there was another one that came out a couple years ago, but I'm not sure. And then I think there was a TV series that I didn't watch.
Oh, that just sounds so good.
I love these movies. I love that each movie, or at least the ones that I watched, again, I don't know if the newest one was connected, but all of them are connected. So it goes from the main character for the first one being the dancer, and then he goes on and a friend of his is the main character, and then the next one, a friend of hers is the main character, and then a friend of his is it just we've passed the torch on each one until finally you get all of them coming together in the last one I saw, which was Step Up All In. And it just I just really like those movies.
Every time I hear of a dancing movie, I just think of that High School Musical. Gotta get your head in the game.
I mean, you're not wrong. I did like High School Musical too, but it's Step Up. First off, one of the reasons I like Step Up is I'm again a big fan of friendship and whatnot, and these movies really lean into you don't pick your family, but you can pick your friends, and your friends are your true family. They are the ones who will stick by you because you've chosen wisely.
Okay, Dominic Toretto, we get it. Family.
Yeah, family. Yeah, man, now that I think about it, some of these do have an aesthetic feel of a Fast and Furious movie.
They're going to be dancing on top of cars instead of being in the cars?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, there is one of the movies starts out where they're dancing in the middle of a traffic jam.
I think I've only seen one of them. Which one was there? There was one movie where the intro of the movie is they're doing a surprise dance thing on a subway train.
So a surprise dancing is a flash mob.
Yeah, flash mob. There's a flash mob on a subway train.
I'm not sure.
I want to say it's 2, maybe?
Might have been.
I've only seen one of these movies, and I watched that, and I was like, okay, that was a movie.
So another reason is, again, I'm also a really big romantic guy.
Oh, we all know. Everybody has
Love
figured out who
romance.
you are on this podcast by now.
Love romance in these or in movies in general, and these movies generally go with the very exact same theme in each movie.
I'm gonna win her heart by love by dance.
Kind of. It's more along the lines of like, I want to dance. Oh snap! Someone to love. They can dance with me.
I'll
Like,
be your dance partner.
yeah. And the first one, like, it kind of. So the first one was more of a drama than a like actual dance movie, which was the Channing Tatum one.
Oh yeah, he was in these movies. I totally forgot about that.
Yes, he was the very first main character of the Step Up franchise.
Hey, just think about this. The character, Channing Tatum's character in that movie, decided he's done with their little group, moved on to become a male stripper to Magic Mike.
Yeah, I mean, well, Channing Tatum has always flaunted that he has been dancing. Like, he is always a dancer.
No, I'm saying the character himself was like, I'm going to
yeah.
move to the city. And he's like, it didn't work out. I'm now a male dancer.
I mean, I would really hope not because, oh, well, I guess they did divorce so Channing Tatum met his wife on Step Up,
There you go.
and then they were married for 10 years, and then
Yeah,
they
but I was
got
talking about the
divorced.
character, not the actor.
No, in the character himself in Step Up, he's with her, and then in Step Up 2, they are together. They move away and start, I think, a dance school or something.
Because it's all about dance.
Yeah. Well, again, like, Step Up is about Tyler Gage, who is into dancing on the streets, but makes fun of, like, professional dancing, like ballet and whatnot. But the whole point is that dance is dance. It's an expression of yourself. Don't let stereotypes of dance get in the way. And so he shows that, hey, I can do ballet too. And then his girlfriend is like, hey, I can do street dancing too. So it's a blending together. And then the second one is the exact same.
Nate, you're not really selling this franchise on me, bro.
Oh, I'm not trying to. This is purely my own thing. This is like musicals with you. I don't expect you to get into it at all.
Guys, we can fix world hunger with dance.
So yeah, and then goes from Tyler to the next girl, and then the next girl meets this guy named Moose.
Bro, don't spoil the whole franchise, man. People want to watch it.
Moose becomes the main character, and Moose, in my opinion, is like probably my favorite character of the entire franchise because with him it becomes very comedic. So it's blending comedy with the romance, with the dancing, with the drama. Like, it's just knocking out all of my genre that I like.
Just gotta get your head in the game.
I mean, I really do like the High School Musical movies.
Anytime I hear a dance movie, I just think of that stupid movie.
And you're not wrong. Like, yeah. So that is my number 8, Step Up.
Step Up. Okay.
Step Up franchise.
Step Up.
What would your number 8 be?
All right, my number 8 is the complete opposite of Step Up, and there's a new movie coming out this year, and it is Indiana Jones.
Okay. Yeah.
Indiana Jones is fantastic. Oh, such a good series. This is my favorite character that Harrison Ford plays. You could say, everybody loves Han Solo. Indiana Jones is my favorite character.
I don't love Han Solo.
Everybody loves Han Solo. Shush.
Mainly because if you tell him you love him, he just says, "I know." Like, it's such a
And then
fucking arrogant thing.
Then
to
he gets
say in a
really
romance.
hard, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, oh man,
We're not talking about Star Wars. Talking about Indiana Jones, who also is not the greatest at romance.
No, considering the woman, his baby mama was like, I think 15 when he started with
It's
her.
no big deal.
Like, that's not problematic at all.
Nah, weren't these set in like the 50s or something like that?
I honestly don't know. I want to say like 40s, but
Was it the
it's possible
40s?
50s.
I know Nazis were in it, so I didn't know
Yeah.
if this was like
What?
like a Civil War style thing, where it's like, oh, Nazi party's still around, kind of like a Marvel
Civil
thing.
War?
I don't know. I said Marvel.
World War?
I was thinking Marvel, and the first movie that came to my mind was Civil War for some reason.
So the first movie is set in 1936.
Okay, so it is like the beginning of Nazis. I think the reason why I thought it was later is because isn't the new movie in the trailer supposed to be like the Nazis are still around and it's set in the 50s?
I think so.
Yeah, that's why I got them mixed up. But yeah, I love the Indiana Jones series. There's not a single one of them I don't like, even Crystal Skull. I think Crystal Skull's decent. I think it's the weakest, but it's decent. I know that me, you, and Ty have argued about our feelings of what the best and the worst Indiana Jones are. What would you rank them if you had to rank all the Indiana Jones movies?
See if I remember them all.
There is Raiders of the Lost Ark is first, then the Temple of Doom, then Last Crusade, and then Crystal Skull.
Okay, so I would probably go with Crystal Skull.
Is one?
No, I'm going from bottom to top.
Oh, I was like, Jesus.
Same way we always do.
Okay,
this.
my bad. That's my fault.
So Crystal Skull, then, dang, let's see here. Temple of Doom,
Okay.
Lost Ark,
Last Ark. Or no, wait. Raiders of the
Ark.
Lost Ark. Yeah, you're right.
yeah. Then the Last Crusade.
Yep. And I match up with that completely. My favorite is Last Crusade. Then it would be Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I think when we talked to Ty, he was pretty much the exact same.
No, Ty.
He had two mixed.
Ty, he says that he thinks Crystal Skull is better than
Temple of Doom.
Temple of Doom. He thinks Temple of Doom's the worst.
I think I'm wishy-washy on that because I think I said that too when we were talking last time. It's basically just how I'm feeling at one point. On one hand, because I think both of them are really good, like Indiana Jones movies, but there are things in them that I'm not a fan of. So it just kind of depends on my mood on which one is better at the time y'all ask me.
Yeah, I think they're all good though. Like I said, Crystal Skull wasn't bad. It wasn't great. Like I don't like the direction they went with aliens, but it makes sense after seeing what all the things Indiana Jones has dealt with.
Yeah, dealing with supernatural, why not extraterrestrial?
Yeah, and Shia LaDouche's character is not great.
See, I liked Mutt.
That's so stupid.
Like, I understood Mutt.
There's a reason he's not going to be in the new movies.
Well, yes, there is a reason. I'm not entirely sure it's the character Mutt's fault. But, like, personally, like, I understood Mutt. He was very frustrated that he has a father that he never knew and blamed his father, but then finds out that it wasn't entirely his dad's fault because his dad never even knew he was alive.
Yeah. And now the new one is the Dial of Destiny, and it's going to be all about his goddaughter.
Yes, Helena Shaw.
Which is weird. They could have made it like his daughter, like a daughter he didn't know he had again.
I like to think that they did this because Mutt is still in the universe.
He
Like,
died.
they're not retconning
No, Mutt
Crystal
died.
Skull.
dead.
They're just being like, yeah, Mutt has decided not to follow in his father's footsteps.
Turned out Mutt was abducted by aliens.
I could see Mutt being a bar owner like his mom was, and so yeah.
But yeah, that's my number 8. I love the Indiana Jones movies. You can fight me on liking him more than Han Solo in the comments if you like.
feel like no one's gonna fight you on that.
I feel like Ty would fight me on that.
Han Solo is a cool character. I think Ty likes Indiana Jones more than Han Solo.
Oh, does he? I could
think
have sworn he
so.
didn't. Oh, well.
Like Han Solo is a cool character, but he is kind of an asshole.
Yeah. Hey, Harrison Ford, all of his characters kind of assholes.
Yeah, no, that's very true. They typecasted Harrison Ford as the cool asshole.
All right, so let's move on. What's your number 7?
My number 7 is the Mission Impossible franchise.
I knew this would be on here. I thought this would be much higher on your list.
Yeah, so the reason is because the other movies, now we're getting into terms of just the number of movies and how much I enjoy them. Mission Impossible, I really do enjoy. They are my James Bond films. I've never really been into James Bond that much, but
Me either.
Ethan Hunt, he was my spy. He, like, the more putting on disguises, using little gadgets and teamwork rather than independent character.
I mean,
again,
he's not the best spy. The best spy out there is Inspector Gadget. Come on, man.
Inspector Gadget's not a spy.
I know.
He's a detective.
Shut up.
Get your lore right. So now, Ethan Hunt, I really like. I don't know, like the music. I like the action, the intensity.
This is the one that's like dun, 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 right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the stupid little like. This is your mission if you choose to accept it, and then
It explodes.
this message will explode in like 15 seconds, and you have like it's just
stupid.
it is very stupid, and I like they make it a serious thing, and I'm
so
like
dumb.
yeah, and that's kind of what I like about it. Like they try to make it such a serious thing that it just comes off as comedic to me, and I'm like I can't help but see it as just a comedic take, even though it's not supposed to be a comedic take. And then again, as it goes on, I'm a fan of Tom Cruise, and again, I'm a fan of Jeremy Renner, and he gets introduced into the team, and like I think 3, I'm not sure. It might have been Ghost Protocol, but also Simon Pegg is in this. Like he's like the techie guy on their team. So
I've only seen Ghost Protocol. It's the only one I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. I highly recommend watching the others.
Maybe one day.
I'm just a fan of like I said, these are my action spy films. The other movies on my list, or the other franchise on my list, had more of an impact of overall like enjoyment of the world they're in. Whereas this one, I like the characters and I like the cast. The movies are actiony, and that's about it.
Okay.
Everything else, it's our world basically, just with spies that we know of. So that is my number 7.
Nice. I expected to be higher, but I understand. All right, that moves on to my number 7, which, sticking with the action-y theme, is the franchise Die Hard.
Okay.
Die Hard is the best Christmas movie ever made, Nate.
So they say.
No, I love the whole franchise. There's not a single Die Hard movie I don't like. They're all really good. Would you agree? You would agree with that, right? Like all the Die Hard movies are pretty good. No. Really?
Well, like I would say they're all decent.
Really? Oh no.
Like some of them are really good. I really like
3.
1. I like the first one. I like the third one. Though the third one I watched first and I like it more.
Makes sense. Samuel Jackson, Die Hard with a Vengeance. That is like, it seems like that's a lot of people's favorite movie.
Well, again, it is like I'm a big fan of buddy stuff, and this is the John McClane buddy with Zeus, like
sorta.
Yeah, well, it's a love-hate friendship, and by the end of the movie, they both respect each other, and they're both like, "Fucking man, we're bros." Like, so yeah, that was their buddy film in that franchise. I did not like the last one with John McClane's son, I think.
I think that would be my least favorite as well.
Yeah, it was like it had its moments, but the overall movie I just was not a fan of.
If I had to rank these movies, I would say number one, Die Hard. The original Die Hard is my favorite. Die Hard with the Vengeance, the third one, that's my second favorite. Then my third favorite is actually the fourth one with Justin Long, with the hacking,
Yeah.
the hacker one. I really like that movie.
Oh, what was it? Live Free or Die Hard?
Yeah, and then Die Hard 2 with the airport scene, and then the last one, which you said is the one with the sun.
Yeah, Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah. I think there's only 5, right? There's only the 5. I'm pretty sure.
Yes. I looked up. I'm looking at line and there's. Oh, okay. It's a comic book. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, what? Why is this popping up?
The Justin Long one though is like super underrated. That movie's so freaking good.
Yes. So the Justin Long one is their second attempt at a buddy relationship between John McClane and another co-star.
It didn't hit as well as it did with Samuel Jackson though.
No, it did not. Mainly because John McClane and Zeus were around the same age and had a begrudging respect for one another. Justin Long's character, I don't even remember his name.
I don't either. I just always called Justin Long's character.
But they were more like, okay, boomer and millennial.
And the fact that Justin Long's character the entire time was just trying to keep, it ended up with the girl, with his daughter. Like the whole thing was like,
well, not like the whole movie.
No, but
more like the last.
Yeah, the last end of it was like, okay, I think I like this girl, kind of thing.
Yeah. Which I'm okay with that. I enjoy it. I don't think it would last.
Come on, man! That's a loving marriage material relationship right there. No, I'm just kidding. It wouldn't last.
It felt more like, oh, my dad kind of doesn't like this guy. I might date him, and then he's like, this chick is hot, and the adrenaline's pumping in me right now due to all of the life and death I've just had. I kind of want to be with this chick. Like, I feel like, as
soon as that adrenaline dies down.
Yeah, once all of the action calms down, that would be the test of if their relationship would be okay.
Turns out she's just like her father, and he's like, oh, his father pissed me off so much.
Well, not even that. Like, I feel like their relationship would be very much like John McClane and his wife's relationship, because every time we see their relationship in these movies, they're not doing good.
No, every time they try to get back together, they're like, oh, we're divorcing again. Or
yeah, and the only reason they get back together is because some life or death situation has pumped them full of adrenaline and made them like, oh man, like, okay, really good partners to have. We both complement each other. The problem is you can't sustain a relationship on life and death situations.
Yeah. All right, we gotta move on though. So yeah, my number 7 is Die Hard. I love this franchise. Obviously, we can't get any more Die Hards because of the whole Bruce Willis thing going on.
Yeah,
unless they move on to like his son or daughter or something. I don't want. I think it should just be done. I think Die Hard should just be done.
I wouldn't mind them doing like a series with his son, but not movies.
No, we don't. I think we need to let it die. But that's just me.
Yeah.
So let's move on to
the fact that don't let things die.
Yeah. Let's move on to your number 6.
All right, my number 6 is Transformers.
Hey, that's my number 6.
Awesome. We can both cover it.
Dude, that's so great. That's the fact that they're on the same number. That's so funny.
That is. I genuinely thought this would be higher on your list.
Oh, dude, I love this franchise, but the things above Transformers is just so much better.
I can understand that.
Why'd you pick Transformers?
So I picked Transformers simply because I love Transformers. I like the cartoon. I like the comics. I had their action figures when I was a kid.
You know what's kind of funny is that I didn't have any of that stuff. My same thing with Ninja Turtles. My introduction to Transformers was as an adult in 2007 when they made the movie.
I mean, that's why I'm all in favor with them making movies of older content, because it gets people interested in them.
I didn't watch the cartoons as a kid. I wasn't interested in Transformers. Then Shia LaBeouf's okay, so I know Shia LaDouche, all his like douchey stuff that he's done throughout his whole career after Even Stevens. Even Stevens, was that his show?
Yes, Even Stevens was his.
I didn't watch that show. Transformers came out right after I just watched the movie Holes, and I loved the movie Holes. And I was like, dude, it's the guy from Holes, and he's in a robot movie. How awesome is that? So I went and saw the movie, and I fell in love with the movie. And then I fell in love with the franchise, and every movie ever since has been pretty awesome.
So, I watched a few episodes of Even Stevens. I was not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of Shia LaBeouf's character in Even Stevens. But I did, like you, watch Holes, and I was like, okay, he's pretty good in this.
Yeah, he did a good job in Holes, so I'm like, oh, this dude can act.
And then I watched Transformers, I'm like, okay, like, Sam Witwicky's not a bad character. I like him. He's a pretty decent character. And then the way his character developed throughout the movies, okay, he's still a decent character.
And then they're like, oh, that character died. We're just going to kill him off screen. Yeah. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, they don't even they just don't even flat out tell you that he's dead. They just allude like, you're the last of the Witwicky bloodline. I'm like, wait a minute, that means Sam's dead. Oh shit.
It also didn't
means his parents are dead. Which, damn.
They don't explain it. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that this movie came out in 2007. So I was a sophomore in high school with all the hormones going on, and they're like, this movie has explosions, killer robots, super cool cars, and Megan Fox, who was super hot back in the day. Hot chicks, super cool cars, explosions, everything a sophomore in high school would love. And I was like, fuck yeah.
But yeah, I liked their transition into modern kind of vehicles and whatnot. So
I have a question. What is your thoughts on... So the first three movies, obviously, was Sam Witwicky. And I think it's ironic. I know now because with Megan Fox, they had a lot of like falling out with directors and stuff like that. And that's why she wasn't in the third one. But it was interesting how the first two movies are building up as like Sam and Megan Fox's character, I don't even remember her name, they love each other. They are soulmates. Then the third one, they're like, oh yeah, she dumped me for another guy. Like, what?
I mean, them's the breaks, because it's like, realistically, a lot of high school relationships don't work out.
That's what I like hearing.
Well, I mean, it's just, that's the facts. Like, usually, especially nowadays, people are a lot more open-minded where high school relationships, a lot of adults try to, like, that's why they're worried about their kids getting hurt through relationships. Like, you say you love this, you don't really know. You're having so much hormones pumping through you at the moment.
Yeah.
You could be mistaking that for love. And it's not always the, like, truth. You can find love in high school and whatnot. That has been proven. It's just a lot of the times it doesn't work out that way because people then they graduate, they go out into the world, they meet new people, they expand their knowledge, and sadly they meet new people. So I wasn't too shocked that they broke. I was sad because I did like them together.
I did too.
I could.
And it turned out his new girlfriend, was pretty stupid. To be honest, I didn't like her. I didn't like the new girl in the third movie.
I didn't think she was too bad. I thought
she wasn't great.
Yeah, I don't. But also, we had 2 movies to develop one character, whereas the new one, we had 1 movie to develop an entire relationship with them. Like,
so, my next question is, I have a question. So my next question is, how do you feel about... So the first 3 movies were Sam Witwicky and the Transformers stopping Megatron with the Allspark and everything that happened with that. Then it seems like they did like a switch after that trilogy ended, and they started doing like different like storylines with like the knights, and then they see like the past of, like, they've been Transformers have been here since the dawn of time kind of thing. And now it seems
Merlin's age.
Yeah, and it seems like now the newer movies they did with Bumblebee, and it looks like they're doing with this new movie. It's set in a different time period. Like, Bumblebee is set in the 80s. The new one's going to be set in the 90s. It's like, we're not going forward with the story. We're going backwards. How do you feel about that?
I feel like they're just like that's what comics do. They don't really stick to a coherent arc. Once they're done with the storyline that they're trying to do, they just go into another like, oh, and this happened at this time.
So what you're saying is that they're running out of ideas and they're just trying to make money.
Well, yeah, but that's pretty much everything.
That's true.
I am fine with regurgitating media, simply because I'm a person who likes to play games and grind stuff. So this is just my grinding through movies. So I'm okay with it. I understand, but I also definitely understand people being like burnt out all the damn time because you want new things. You want not the same story being told, just different setting.
So I think there's 7 Transformers movies now, something like that.
Let's see.
Okay, it's the first 3, and then there's another 3 trilogy, and then there's the Bumblebee movie.
6 movies, and then the new one coming out, which would make 7.
Now, does that include Bumblebee?
Yes.
Okay.
There's Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moon, Age of Extinction, The Last Knight, Bumblebee, and then Rise of the Beast.
So, out of those 6, because we haven't seen the new one, what is your top 3?
Probably the original trilogy in that order.
Oh, 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, because not only are we seeing Witwicky's like arc and all that, we're also seeing the other Transformers arcs as well. And like there's one, I forget which movie it is because my mind kind of blends things together.
Right.
But one of them has like one of my favorite just badass Optimus Prime moments where it's the scene I think he actually like they think he dies and he just destroys a Decepticon with his weapon.
I want to say there's a second one when they use the Allspark 2, or not the Allspark, the Allspark, the little spinner things, I forget what it's called. But they use that and they like slap it into his chest and bring him back or something.
Yeah, and then he's just like souped up.
For me, I would say the first movie's the best. The second movie is the second best. And honestly, my number 3 is actually the Night movie. Number 4 or 5 or whatever. I think it's 5. The one where it's all about him getting corrupt, Optimus Prime being corrupted and betraying his friends. This was at the time period when movies were doing the age of corruption and betrayal, because they did the same thing with Transformers and Fast and the Furious and all that. It's all we're betraying our family. Yeah. I don't know. I really like that. I think a lot of it's because the whole theme is he's a knight now. Oh no, I really liked that movie.
Yeah, I can understand that. Like I love medieval fantasy and whatnot.
I love medieval fantasy.
Swords are always a...
Yeah, Optimus Prime got a giant medieval sword. That was so sick. And Age of Extinction, I love the fact that he came riding in on a T-Rex. That was so freaking cool.
Okay. Yeah, I can understand that.
All right, so that's Transformers. We got to move on again. We're running low on time.
All right, so that was my number 6. That was your number 6. Do you want me to say my number 5?
I'll do my number 5 next. My number 5 is the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise.
Oh, that is my number 3.
Hey, we can combine them again. Awesome.
Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean is fantastic. This is pretty much the best role Jack Black has ever had, in my opinion.
Jack Black?
Did I say?
You mean Johnny Depp?
I mixed the name of the character and the actor together. I don't know why I said that.
Yes, Johnny Depp, who plays the amazing character
Jack
Black.
Shut up! I mixed the two together. I think Jack, and I'm like, Jack Black, obviously.
Yeah. That's understandable. The new Mario movie just came out, so Jack Black is on everybody's mind.
Right. So Jack Sparrow. I love Jack Sparrow's character. These movies, oh man, every movie is just so good. The only movie I don't really care for is number 4, and that's Stranger's Tides, and it's because it has nothing to do with the main story. It was like a side little thing that they did.
I can understand that. It is. So I like all of the movies too. 4 and 5 are pretty equal.
5 isn't that bad. 5 was a continuation of William Turner, though.
It was but you say it's not that bad, and I don't think it's bad.
Well, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not
like,
the weakest.
Not when. I would say they're about tied for me.
All right. So, what makes you love these movies?
I mean, the whole aesthetic of them. Like, not only does it introduce us to amazing characters, it does great world building and just pulls you into the lore of being a pirate.
Oh yeah.
It is fully engrossing of the audience for this movie.
Would you agree that these are the best pirate movies? Like, of all pirate themed movies, would this be the best one?
Trying to think of other pirate themed movies. I can
The
think
Goonies
of
is technically a pirate movie, isn't it?
It has a pirate ship.
What about like
wrecked.
Peter Pan?
Again, they're the pirates of the enemies.
Yeah, I love this whole theme of pirates, and Jack Sparrow is so funny.
The only other pirate movie I can actually think of is literally called A Pirate Movie, and it's a musical.
Ugh. There's other pirate movies out there. Come on.
I know there are. I'm just I'm blanking on them though.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, out of the 6, there's 6 or is there 5? I don't remember.
There are 5.
All right.
There was supposed to be a 6 with Margot Robbie.
Oh, that's right.
Of
nobody wants that.
Johnny Depp, but I'm not sure if it's still going because I haven't seen anything.
Nobody wants that to happen.
I'd be okay with it.
No,
but I also, now that Johnny Depp is cleared and all that, I would really like him to come back.
I mean, the story kind of ended, didn't it? With the last movie, they kind of closed the book on all of that stuff. The whole William Turner and Elizabeth and all that. They closed the chapter on that whole thing.
And then opened the chapter with Will's son.
Oh yeah,
and Barbossa's daughter.
I forgot. I haven't seen the last movie. I haven't seen that in a while. I only saw it one time, and it was like in theaters.
Like, we literally went from the era of Elizabeth and Will to the next generation of their son, meaning another legendary character's child.
Out of the 5, which is your favorite movie? What is it? Number 1?
I mean, I really like right off the cuff, yes. Because it introduces all the characters that you fall in love with throughout the whole franchise. It probably has because it introduces the insanity of Jack Sparrow's luck. And how
that's his superpower.
I truly feel like Jack Sparrow somehow got the reality stone, and so whatever he does, the world will rewrite itself to work. But I'm torn between the love of the first one and the third one where the wedding scene.
Yes.
I love the wedding scene so much.
My favorite movie is number 3, At World's End. That's my favorite of the Pirates movies.
Okay.
And it's not because of the wedding scene. It's because the whole damn movie. It's, the craziness in the beginning where it's he's dead and they have to go to basically save him from Davy Jones' locker, and he's crazy, and he's like the crabs that go across the sand, and it's that all that happens, and then there's it moves on to the whole thing with the Barbossa. Is it Barbossa? What's the name of the squid guy? Is that's not Barbossa?
That's Davy Jones.
That's Davy Jones. Yeah.
Barbossa is the pirate captain that becomes an admiral that becomes
his friend.
yeah, becomes his enemy, becomes his friend.
Yeah, so I love the whole dynamic with Will and Davy Jones. I love that whole storyline. Out of all of the stories in the series, that's my favorite one. And it has a giant kraken. I love krakens, and the fact that the whole ending scene fight is like on a giant like tornado like drain in the middle of the ocean, and they're like shooting each other from the side of the typhoon. I don't know. I love the whole movie. The movie and it has the whole lore of the goddess trapped in the immortal body.
Yeah,
That's
wasn't
such
the
a
Kraken
cool.
the second movie though?
No, is it?
Yes,
No.
the Kraken
Is
is the
it?
second movie because the third movie
No.
shows the Kraken dead.
Is it? Oh, I blended the movies, man.
Yeah, I know. I do that all the time. I understand.
I just remember
Yeah.
I loving the third movie because like the lore is really good. The whole dynamic between Davy Jones and the goddess, and how
Yeah,
they're lovers and stuff.
The second movie ends with the Kraken eating Jack Sparrow because Elizabeth locks him onto the ship.
That's what it is. But the third movie has the scenes where they're fighting in the ship
Yeah.
battle, right?
The whirlpool, yeah.
Yeah, I love that scene.
That's when the wedding takes place.
Yeah, I love that scene. I love that scene. That's one of the best scenes.
I do like the fact that like when Jack Sparrow goes to Davy Jones's locker, it's just a barren wasteland with a ship on land with stone crabs.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. The crabs are hilarious.
But the thing I like the most about it is the multiple personality of Jack Sparrow. Like he is his own crew because in his head only he deserves to be on the ship.
Yeah, I love the third movie. I like them all. Even Stranger Tides, not the greatest, but I like them all. But the third movie just really stands out to me.
Stranger Tides, I think, for me, the reason why it isn't in like it's not one of the greats is simply because it did a romance dirty. The romance between the Christian and the mermaid, and then killed the Christian. And I'm like, oh man, that sucks. So that romance died. And then the romance between Jack and Blackbeard's daughter, who I really liked her character because, I mean, it was
Penelope
supposed to be
Cruz?
like, huh? Yeah. Like she was supposed to be the female Jack Sparrow style. Even to the point where she's impersonating Jack Sparrow in one of the scenes.
I barely remember that movie, to be honest.
I really liked the dynamic between her and Jack Sparrow because it felt like Jack Sparrow finally met his match or someone close to his match, and just absurdity. And then it just, I mean, it was the poster for toxic familial relationships because while she loved her father did not love her like at all. And it was just a really sad ending.
Oh, I
But
agree.
we got a happier ending in the next one, Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Yeah. All right, so that's my number 5, and you said somewhere number 3.
Yes, that was my number 3.
So that moves you on to number 4.
That moves me to number 5 still because
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah. So my number 5 is the Harry Potter franchise.
That is my number 3.
Ha! That's what you get.
I feel like the rest of our list, besides maybe my number 1, is gonna just be all crossovers.
My number 2 might not be on your list.
Well,
So-
let's talk about Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Grew up reading the books, loved the books. Grew up watching the movies, loved the movies.
Don't worry, Nate. If you like them so much, we're getting another reboot. Yay!
Yes. Not excited about that.
No, I don't feel like a lot of people are not excited about this.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're
There's-
doing this.
So many other stories they could go with.
No, we need to
explore
reboot
and-
it, have whole new characters of the stories we already know.
But I say it's not even whole new characters. It's just whole new actors.
Yeah, that's
for
what I
some
meant.
characters
Whole new-
that we already love.
That's what I meant to say. Whole new actors. For characters we already belong.
Harry Potter is definitely like the poster franchise for separating the art from the creator. Because
What are you talking about, Nate? Is there something going on with the creator?
while I do love the franchise and I love like the lore, and yeah, there's a lot of stereotyping in the lore.
Nah, man, there's no stereotyping in Harry Potter.
Yeah, yeah. But there is a lot of stereotyping in a lot of lore.
Yeah.
While it may not be great, it is like but man, like I always wanted to go to Hogwarts when I was a kid.
Of course.
Yeah, like every child.
Who doesn't want to go to Hogwarts?
Every child who grew up with Harry Potter, I feel like wanted to go to Hogwarts. Every person wanted to know what wand they would get, what house they'd belong to.
Slytherin for life.
Ravenclaw for me.
Boom.
But man, it is such an amazing franchise that really suffers
from its creator.
Yeah. But yeah, like again, I'm basically just making a ton of my choices are friendship.
I know, I can tell. Look at the bromance friendship between these guys. This is such a good series.
Yeah, like I will say the movies did not really I feel like the movies did not do a great job of representing Harry and Ron's friendship and Hermione, because they gave a lot of Ron's moments to Hermione in the movies, which just, I mean, makes Hermione a better character, but she was already a pretty great character in the book, so I'm not sure why they decided to do that.
So I never read the books. I only watched the movies.
The books were good. Man, there was some things they left out. I can't remember them all.
Well, you should like that the new reboot I was told is supposed to be like more like
more accurate.
Yeah, accurate. More accurate to the books.
Okay, like I mean,
and from what I understand is that it's going to be 7 seasons. Each season is going to be based on a book. It's going to be like a certain amount of episodes.
It's wanting to specifically tell the tale.
Yeah, instead of cramming the whole entire book into like a 2.5-hour movie.
Yeah, I mean, yay, but then again, the movies were just so good.
So speaking of that, go ahead.
I'm one of the few who actually like the Fantastic Beasts movies.
Yeah, you are one of the only people that like that.
That's right. I know. People let me know that on the regular whenever someone mentions Harry Potter, they're like, "Oh, no, Nate's one of those weirdos that liked Fantastic Beasts."
The first Fantastic Beasts is okay, and then it went downhill really fast.
They're not great, but I enjoy these movies because they're expanding on lore and world building on things that I had questions about before when I watched and read the original Harry. Like, is there like just one wizarding school? No, there's wizarding schools all across the world.
All that matters is Hogwarts.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We all want to go to Hogwarts, even if there is an American school.
America!
Right? But yeah, so I just like the fact that there's just a secret wizarding world out there.
So out of all the Harry Potter movies, which one's your favorite? Yeah, you knew it was coming. You knew I was going to ask this question.
I mean, let's see here. What was the one? I'm going to say Chamber of Secrets.
Chamber of Secrets, number 2.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That is a really good movie.
Mainly because it introduces the Sword of Gryffindor.
Okay.
I really like that sword. I like the way they presented it, how they introduced all that stuff. I liked the kind of mystery in it, even though, I mean, in the books, I already knew pretty much everything that was going to happen.
Because you're so smart.
No, I mean, because I read the books. I cheated, basically.
Cheater.
Yeah. so I already knew like what the mystery entailed, but the movie did such a good job of giving off the feel of a mystery that I kind of got lost into it. So I'm like, oh wow, like wait, I already knew that. Why was I surprised? Like,
Whoa.
so yeah, I would go with Chamber of Secrets as my favorite one.
I would say my favorite one is actually the Half-Blood Prince.
Okay, okay,
I really enjoyed the whole. That was the point of the movie. We're starting to get dark, and it was starting
Yes,
to be
that-
like, oh shit, we don't know what side Snape is on.
that's
And
when we hit serious tone.
yeah, I don't know. I like that movie a lot. I like the whole. He had the book of the Half-Blood Prince, and he was figuring out all the secrets that nobody could figure out with all the potions and everything. Turns out it was Snape's book the whole time. I really like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Snape is my favorite character, and
It's an interesting favorite.
hey, you know what? Snape's my favorite character. Shut up.
No, I'm just saying it's an interesting favorite.
Who's your
I
favorite
genuine-
character?
I genuinely thought you would have said like Fred or George.
Fred or George. Who's your favorite character?
So my favorite character is actually Neville.
I was gonna say Harry Potter.
Well, I do like Harry Potter, but like, while he just like the movies do not paint, he's basically Frodo.
Yeah.
Like he gets carried a lot in his movies. So
Okay. So yeah.
while I do like Harry Potter, it just could have been better.
Cool.
Should have been better. He was the chosen one.
He's the child who lived.
Yeah. I mean, he only lived because of yet another help from someone, so. Yeah.
And only Voldemort knows why. Anyways, we need to move on.
So, what is your number 4, buddy?
My number 4 is the Terminator franchise.
Okay, I figured this would be on your list.
Hell yeah. Terminator is awesome. Terminator 2, T2, pretty much one of the best movies of the 90s. Oh my god, I love that movie. Like, there's not a single Terminator movie that isn't good. There's some that aren't great, but there's some that are, they're all good. Like, I enjoy all of them. I would say the weakest one. I'd say the weakest one is number 3, where it was the female
Yeah.
and John was an adult.
So, 3 and Salvation were my 2.
Oh, Salvation was great. Salvation was the one in the future, right? Where
Yes,
it was
where-
like a half human, half Terminator guy.
Yes.
That movie's great. How could you say to that movie?
Like, I liked the character. It's just the overall movie I wasn't impressed with.
I think that's my 3rd favorite Terminator movie. Man, that movie's so good. I can't believe that you said that.
I mean, it's like you said, they're all at least decent. I wouldn't say it's horrible or bad. I would just say, it's tied with 3 for me on being the weakest.
So what makes you like the Terminator series?
Well, I like the fact, first off, time travel. Anybody who has listened to this podcast knows that I am a massive fan of time travel. And the premise of being able to change your fate, but the illusion, or the illusion of being able to change your fate, but in actuality, it's just trapping you in a loop of go back in time, stop the Terminator from killing Connor, and then the machines, for some reason, coming up with the fallacy that if you go back in time and you stop Connor from rising to power, then they would win. But in reality, all they're doing is prepping Connor for their arrival.
Right.
So it's like most times you see computers being kind of like an infallible thinking process because they can account for many variables, whereas mankind can't. This franchise shows machines don't do that. Like, machines are almost human in this franchise because they fear the rise of man and then lead to their own creation of the very type of man that they're afraid of.
Am I the only one who thinks that the way AI is going now, like, it's kind of scary, like what AI
Well,
could become? Yeah,
obviously, you are not the only one. There is entire conspiracy theories of this
bro. The
thing.
when is Skynet coming? Because like AI is already doing some crazy stuff now, and we're in the infancy stage of AI.
Personally, I'm not too afraid because I'm no master of programming or AI or anything, but we do not have anything on the terms of a true artificial intelligence.
Yeah, Nate, you better
Everything,
get your tinfoil hat ready.
yeah, everything we have is an artificial intelligence that is fed information by us. It's not like them coming up with genuine ideas of their own. It's they're processing information that we give them, and they're coming up with the conclusions of what normally we would have because we're the ones feeding them the information.
Yeah, if I had to rank all the Terminator movies, I think I would go T2 number one. Then I would go. I would go honestly. I think Terminator Salvation is my second favorite one, and then
Okay.
Terminator Dark Fate, which everybody shit all over. I think that movie is so good. I think that's my third favorite one,
Yeah.
and then give it to the OG Terminator, and then Genesis that was when he became a liquid Terminator at the end, and then Rise of the Machines was number 3, or the third movie would be the last one.
No. I would probably go Judgment Day, Dark Fate.
Oh, Dark Fate
Genesis,
2, good.
the original Terminator, and then Salvation and Rise of the Machines are tied for last.
It's pretty much equal to mine.
Sort of.
But yeah, that's why I picked Terminator. I think the whole franchise is awesome. I love the story of it, the whole Rise of the Machines and all that time travel stuff.
Eternal hope that we can fight them off.
Right. There's so much story there.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4. Let's move on to whatever number you're on now.
My number 4 is Star Wars.
See, I specifically did not put Star Wars on my list because I feel like I can't. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I am a casual Star Wars fan.
I used to be a big Star Wars fan.
Until Disney.
Well, not till Disney, honestly. It was before Disney. I probably kind of fell off a bit before Disney, and then when Disney retconned a lot of my favorite stuff.
Oh, from the books and stuff?
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I guess I am a casual fan now because all the info I know is obsolete. And I just have not put in the effort to try to learn any of the new stuff, other than like the new movies that have come out.
See, for me, when it comes to Star Wars, I was a fan of the original trilogy. I was a big fan of the prequels. Like, I actually think the prequels are better, sorta. I know that's very controversial. Like, it's hit or miss. Like, number 5, Empire Strikes Back is my favorite movie. And then 4 and 6 are good, but I grew up with the prequels. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, when I was a kid, the prequels are coming out. So I really like the prequels a lot. I have a lot of nostalgia for the prequels.
Yeah.
Then Disney came out, and I was like, okay, these are movies. And then Rise of the Skywalkers was so terrible. It literally killed the franchise for me. I have no interest in any upcoming Star Wars anything at all. The only thing I've seen since Rise of the Skywalkers was I gave The Mandalorian a shot. I know all you fans out there are going to be like, what the hell? Mandalorian was so damn boring. I don't understand why everybody loves this show. That show is so boring. I watched season 1 of The Mandalorian, and I started falling asleep during episodes because they were so boring.
Well, I haven't watched Mandalorian yet. I do plan to. I think a lot of people have said that it like picks up later.
Yeah, but I don't need to watch, 10 hours of a show for it to pick up. That's stupid.
Yeah.
And then the only thing after that I tried giving a shot was Obi-Wan, because they the Obi-Wan show was Ian McGregor, who is my favorite Star Wars character from the prequels. Honestly, he's my favorite Star Wars character. Obi-Wan Kenobi from the prequels is my very favorite Star Wars character, and they made a show about him. And I was like, okay, this will get me to go back to Star Wars. And I loved it. That was the first piece of Star Wars since 2019 that I actually liked.
Yeah, I really liked Obi-Wan too. It was a good show.
But why did you put Star Wars on your list?
Again, world building, and a bunch of characters that I enjoy. I have played numerous video games of theirs. I used to read their comics. I used to read the books.
I will say Star Wars does have really good video games.
Yeah, like Star Wars just has an amazing lore around the franchise. Like the whole battle between Jedi and Sith, the introduction of the Republic and the Empire, the conflict between, or the like seedy underground really between everything. Like you have whole city planets where everything looks like amazing, but then if you go deep enough, you'll start to see that, I mean, it's kind of a dystopian future kind of world, because you'll still have homelessness and starvation, because I mean, it's a city state, basically. It is insanity.
And in the movies, there's a lot of controversy in the movies, you know. A lot of struggles with dealing with changes and stuff like that the characters have to go through, like the fact that Jar Jar Binks becomes a Sith Lord.
I mean, he never becomes a Sith Lord.
He's a Sith Lord, Nate. We all know. Us true Star Wars fans, okay?
I mean, your headcanon, great, buddy. That's awesome.
No, us true Star Wars fans know that Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord, okay?
But he has never officially become a Sith.
He's a Sith Lord.
I mean, look, I have seen numerous people give me proof as to why he would be a Sith, and it does make sense.
He's a Sith Lord.
But it's not proven. And until it's proven, he's just a Jack Sparrow.
You know that Disney will, or George Lucas will never allow this to happen. Like, they'll never admit it.
I feel like George Lucas did admit that he was planning on doing it.
They said they planned something big for Jar Jar, and then the backlash for Phantom Menace, which I don't get. Phantom Menace is a really good movie.
Why gone?
Dude, okay, little side tangent. Phantom Menace does not deserve the hate it gets. Everybody shit all over Phantom Menace, and honestly, the prequels in general, for years, 10, 15 years, until Disney decided to make their own, and everybody's like, you know what? The new Disney movies are garbage. Maybe we were too harsh on the prequels. And I was like...
something worse to be like,
yes!
You know?
And I was like, the thing I've been saying for years? Okay, guys.
Yeah. I mean, I was not a big fan of the sequel trilogy.
It's so bad.
Like, I don't think it is downright god-awful like a lot of people are saying.
Okay.
There are aspects to it that I'm like, not a fan of.
I thought that basically A New Hope 2.0, what was that, The Force Awakens, that wasn't that bad. That was like, okay, these characters are decent. It's literally the same movie as A New Hope, but it's okay. And then Last Jedi was like, we're going to take that entire movie and we're going to just turn it on its side. And I'm like, what are you doing with this story? Why are you changing all these things? And I'm like, okay, it wasn't that bad. Like, Last Jedi wasn't that bad, to be honest. It's just the Rise of the Skywalker sours the entire trilogy. I actively hate that movie.
Yeah, see, I wasn't a massive fan of it, but I also don't think it deserves all of the hatred that it gets.
I will take Ewoks, Jar Jar. I will take Luke Skywalker being a complete and total utter douchebag, sipping on blue alien milk, over anything in that movie. I hate that movie, man.
Yeah. And then we've got Rogue One and Solo.
Oh yeah, those movies are good. Okay, again, hot take here. I think Solo was really good. I think the Solo movie was better than any movie out of the Disney trilogy. Solo was awesome, and I wanted a second Solo movie, and they didn't make it. Everybody bitched about it, and they were like, cancel it. Not even going to continue it.
Yeah. I liked it. But yeah, that is my number 4.
Number 4. Okay, cool. Yeah. Like I said, casual Star Wars fan.
Number 2.
Number 2. And I know it's going to be on your list. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU.
That is my number 1.
Hey, I had a feeling it'd be a number 1, honestly.
Yeah, purely out of sheer numbers, honestly.
Are you surprised it's not my number 1?
A little, but
I feel like when you hear, when you hear my number 1, you're gonna be like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Marvel Cinematic Universe has been being built since 2008, since Iron Man, and I've been continuing with it ever since, and I love everything about the MCU. There's been a couple stinkers here recently, but for the most part, there's not really that many bad Marvel movies. You know what I mean? Like MCU movies, I should say.
There's been a couple like slow movies that they've done, and there are a few of them where I'm like, I'm not a massive fan of them, but like with the MCU, it is all one giant story. So it's basically like, okay, that is a slow movie, but it continues on to another movie that I really do like. So without it, like, I wouldn't have that other movie.
Right.
Which is the reason why it's my number 1, is because it's just one giant story told over the length of 32 movies.
Including with, like, time travel and alternate timelines and alternate dimensions and stuff.
With like Marvel and DC stuff, when you go into like one story, you have to make you have to understand that alternate timelines, alternate realities, and all that is all a part of the one story. It's just one giant tapestry weaved out of many threads.
So with the MCU, obviously I have it list. There's 32 movies of the MCU.
Yes.
Give me your top 3. What are the 3 best MCU movies?
Oh man, okay. Probably. All right, so Quantumanium.
Oh wow, is that your number 1?
No, again.
Oh, we do backwards.
Yeah. So Quantumanium is 3.
Wow, dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, I really like that movie as well. I thought that was a really good movie. The internet completely disagrees with you, Nate.
Yeah.
The internet really does not like that movie.
No, I understand.
I thought it was really good. I think I gave it
to their opinion.
I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah. So I will say another problem. I may change this like tomorrow, simply because.
Well, we did just see Guardians 3, so that could like alternate the list as well, adding new movies in.
Yeah. There are 32 of these movies, so I may remember something about one of the other movies and be like, oh, yeah, I really like that one too, and then mess that up. So
Quantumanium is number 3.
Yeah, Quantumanium number 3. Just because it's so fresh in my mind, I guess Guardians Volume 3 is number 2.
Guardians 3 is your favorite Guardians?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Guardians
Hands
1.
down.
Guardians 1 is the best Guardians, in my opinion.
Guardians 1 is my second favorite. Simply like the emotional tone that 3 had is what I love about it so much.
I put Guardians 3, and then I put Spider-Man Home. This is not in my list. This is way down the list. I have Guardians 3 at 11, and then I put Spider-Man Homecoming, and then Guardians 2 at 13, because they're so close together. I thought Guardians 2 and 3 were pretty close.
Yeah.
And so what would you say is your number 1?
Number 1 would be the last Spider-Man movie.
Spider-Man No Way Home?
Yeah.
That is my number 1. If I had to pick an order, so number 1 is Spider-Man No Way Home, because Spider-Man's my favorite comic book character of all time. And you got all the Spider-Mans together. 2, 3, and 4 are like tied. So I have Avengers Endgame, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and the OG Iron Man. All 3 of those movies are just so close together. It's really hard to decide what order they'd be in.
Okay.
But yeah, I love Man, the MCU is so good. You can say what you want about, like, people are saying, oh, the downfall of the MCU is becoming too much content, too blah, 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 blah. The TV shows are too much, blah, 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 blah. Dude, give me all the MCU. I'm here for it all.
Yeah, if we count like the TV shows and stuff, then my order would probably change.
Yeah, but this is a top 10 movie series, so this would be the movies. But yeah.
All right, so that is
MCU.
my... Man, that was your number 2?
Number 2. Oh, you're going to be, like, so disappointed with my number 1.
All right, so I guess that leads me to my number 2.
I was going to ask if you had any more. I couldn't remember.
Yes, I had number 2 and number 1. Now I just have number 2. So my number 2 is the Lethal Weapon franchise.
That's a good franchise. That was almost an honorable mention.
This is purely a action and buddy situation. I love the relationship between Roger Murtaugh.
Murtaugh.
Is it Murtaugh? I always thought it was Murtaugh.
There's no G.
Okay. I could have sworn there was.
Nope.
GH.
Murtaugh.
I gotta look that up now.
Anyways, why else do you like this franchise?
Yeah. Anyway, the friendship between Roger Murtaugh, there is a G, Murtaugh, and
Murtaugh.
Martin Riggs.
The ultimate buddy.
Yeah, like the ultimate buddy cop friendship. They are like the chemistry between the two are amazing, bro. Like awesomeness. The fact that you see their friendship evolve over the franchise. Like it starts from Martin being suicidal and just wanting to just stop. Like the only reason he goes is because he can't pull the trigger because he knows his former wife would not want him to do that. And then Roger helping him by introducing him to a family and showing him that there are people out there who would care for him if he just lets them in.
And number 4 is Chris Rock.
Yes, it does. Increasing the family that would care for him. Which is actually one of the reasons why I love the franchise, is because each movie introduces another character to be included in the family of the Murtaugh and Riggs clan of just support system. And it is, again, an action franchise, but it has a lot of feels in that regard.
Yeah.
So
I can see why it's number 2. Your number 2. I didn't expect it to be number 2. I kind of forgot about that franchise, but it's definitely good.
Yeah, this is probably one of my favorite like Mel Gibson things that he's done. So, yeah, Lethal Weapon.
Lethal Weapon.
What is your number 1?
All right. So you know how I said the MCU is my number 2, and I love Marvel and I love all that. And but the fact is that we've stated there's a couple stinkers here and there, right? There's a couple of movies that, like, overall it's really good, but there's a couple that aren't the greatest. Yeah. My number 1 does not have a single movie that I don't love. I have seen all 6. I've seen all 6 movies at least twice, except for the last one because it just came out, and that is the Scream franchise.
Okay.
I just got into Scream because of our buddy.
Forget the horror franchises.
I recently got into Scream because of our buddy Ty. He was doing it for something he was doing, and he said, "Rayson, you gotta watch this show or this movie." So I was like, "All right, I'll give it a shot." Fell in love immediately. I freaking love this franchise now. I've seen every Scream movie except the new one twice. I've gone through them twice within 6 months. I've rewatched them all within 6 months.
Okay.
It's like adult Scooby-Doo. I love trying to figure out who the killers are. It's action-packed, suspenseful, it's comedy, it's like whodunit. It's got everything I love wrapped into a nice little bow of Scream. And Ghostface, I love the look of him. He's a menacing character, but he's also not like over the top menacing like some of like the Saw movies or some of the other franchises where it's like the horror movies are just over the top, bloody, crazy, gory, and blah blah blah. The Scream
also helps that Ghostface is not an immortal. It's literally
it's a new person every time, which I absolutely love that concept. Like, you got Jason, who's, like, supposed to be like, oh, I'm an immortal character, keeps coming back, blah, 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 blah. Freddy, who's an immortal character, keeps coming back. Scream is like, when you go into the movie, you're knowing this is a new character. Like, you get to reset the whole, okay, who is the new killer? What are their motives, and why would they want to do this? Let's try to piece this together.
Not a supernatural occurrence. This is just reality trying to scare the living daylights out of you.
And that's what I love about it, because like it gives you that feeling of like, this could actually happen. It could. I don't see it happening, but like it could.
All serial killers out there being like, dang straight it could.
Wait till I get my Halloween mask. But no, the fact that it is set in our world. It is just psychopaths trying to kill people, and it's always like
or obsessed with
Sidney Presty. Yeah, they're either obsessed with the horror franchise as a whole, and that's another thing. The movies make fun of themselves. It's so meta. Every movie they have some part of the movie where it's like, Scream is like, if you want to survive a horror movie, these are the guidelines you have to be. Scream 2, the killers come back. If you want to survive a sequel, like, okay, 3 this is like the 3rd time a killer's come after us. It's like a trilogy. Like, okay, we get the joke, guys. And they just keep like making the joke in every movie.
Yeah.
And even the newest one that we saw together in theaters, Nate, they're like, at this point, Ghostface has come back so many times, it's like a franchise. I'm like, come on, guys.
I mean, yeah. They're not wrong, though.
But yeah, I love these movies. Every single movie. Of course, there's movies like, some are better than others. But every movie, I've given it at least a 4 out of 5. I love these movies. I think 3.5 is the lowest I gave it.
Okay.
And I love these movies. I recommend them to anybody who wants to dip their toe in horror movies.
The only thing keeping me from like actually like loving these movies as much as you, because the ones I have watched, they're enjoyable. I do enjoy them. It's just like you said, they are parodying themselves. They set rules and everything, and then they break like the most obvious rule once they've crossed a threshold. Because once you've decided, you know what, it's either us or them. They need to die if we're going to survive. Then carry through with it.
No, because then the movie doesn't happen.
Once you have Ghostface on the ground, don't run. Curb stomp their face into paste. But no, every time they're like, we need to kill them to survive. I'm going to knock him out onto the ground with this giant machine. They're down. I'm going to run away. Like, nope, you didn't. You didn't finish the job. You have left yourself open to die yet again.
Nate, then the movie doesn't happen.
I mean, I understand. It's just...
If in the first scene, they knock Ghostface into a bookshelf, and he's out cold, and then they just boom, right in the head. The movie's only 20 minutes long.
Then, great news, you've got a series of short films.
No. But yeah, that's my number one. So yeah, that's our favorite movie franchises. Movie series, I should say.
So I waited to add these honorable mentions in case they were on your list.
Gotta make them quick, dude.
Number 1, The Matrix.
Okay.
And then number 2, Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings was going to be on my list, but...
I know.
Lord of the Rings is a trilogy. The Hobbit is a trilogy. They are not...
But they are continuing storylines.
No, we're not getting into this argument, Nate.
We're not.
Even commenters agreed with me, okay? We have commenters.
We have comments on Lord of the Rings on this one.
No, but I talk to people.
Uh-huh.
Our buddy Ty, I think, agrees with me.
The Hobbit is a part of the Lord of the Rings franchise, thus it is included in this. This is an honorable mention.
But we actually do have comments on our Facebook page. You can check out at Lime and Wolf Podcast on Facebook. We got a few, actually. I posted, comment below your favorite movie series, and we have one from Caitlin who says, Harry Potter, The Avengers, I guess that's just MCU, Jurassic Park, and Twilight. Jurassic Park and Jurassic World are just a continuation, Nate.
Yeah.
Right?
No, you are correct, yeah. I'm not seeing an issue with it.
And then James, he commented, Rocky. The Rocky, except for Rocky 5. I guess he doesn't like Rocky 5.
Okay. And then the Creed movies.
Yeah. And then James commented a second one, Spider-Man, which I had to comment back, and I'm like, would this count? I want your opinion. I said, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man are technically two separate things.
Not anymore, my friend.
And then he says, if you separate them by actor, yes, but I'm considering the franchise of movies themselves. So I guess because of No Way Home, or Far From Home,
they are
whatever.
now part of the MCU multiverse.
Yeah, so I guess they technically count.
Yep, I would count them.
Then Sandy commented Star Wars, so just,
yeah,
we already talked about that. And then Tammy commented Star Trek, Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and The Police Academy, to name a few.
I'm genuinely surprised that wasn't on your list.
The Police Academy suffers from the same reason why MCU isn't my number one, and that is the fact that they are good movies, but after a while, some of them fall down as like they're just okay movies.
Yeah, I just figured it'd be on like at least an honorable mention for you.
Yeah, I figured we had 10. I didn't need a bunch of honorable mentions.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. That's all I got. Anything else you'd like to add, Nate?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. If you guys enjoyed the podcast, check out our social medias. I got podcasts on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast. Got Twitter. Got a Facebook page. Check that all out in the links below. We'll see you guys on the next episode. See you later.